All right, call to order the regular workshop meeting of the Board of Trustees of July 8th, 2020. Pledge to the flag.
Mike, are you recording?
Yes, I am.
Awesome.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Quick.
So this should be a short meeting, hopefully. 5G code update, Dove. I have it here somewhere. Right here, I believe.
Okay, excellent. So this evening we would like to pass a resolution to schedule the public hearing. And this is the second public hearing for the 5G code update. We're doing a second one because we made some additions to this draft resolution. And so we wanted to give the public extra time to review them.
You were getting some feedback from a couple members of the public.
Yes, I got a couple of letters and I just don't want to make the name. Dana Carini. So she submitted. Sorry?
Are they village residents?
Yeah.
Yes, I believe so.
75 Moffett. 75 Moffett. I did double check that.
Okay, thanks, Mindy. And we went back and forth. She was encouraging the village to be more restrictive in what we would allow for 5G. And I was explaining that we're working sort of under the confines of the FCC and the limitations that they impose on us in terms of what we are able to decide in terms of the siting and design and structure of future 5G or small cell technology telecommunications facilities. We aren't in control. A lot of this we have to defer to the federal government and its laws. And so we worked with our village council and with Hank Menkes, who was the consulting engineer on this project, who's very, very familiar on federal regulations, to make it as strict as we could with what we were allowed to do. So at the same time, some of the ideas that Dana submitted, I thought we really possibly could implement. So I ran them by our lawyer, and he said that we could increase the distance. It had been 30 feet and a maximum distance, or a minimum distance, sorry, of 30 feet from a residential house of the placement of these units, because that's actually often the distance that a telephone pole is from the house, and these more often than not are placed on telephone poles. But we asked our lawyer whether we could, Mike and I did, whether we could increase that distance to 50 feet minimum, and he said we might have to, be, asked to explain that in court in the future, why we are insisting on 50, but he thought that it wasn't irrational. And so I thought it was a good compromise. I read other municipal codes where the distance was much greater. And I know that FCC has said that the municipalities can't really, make it too cumbersome for the carriers and too distant from homes. So anyway, the long way of saying that we changed it from 30 feet to 50 feet for minimum distance from residences. And we also, I also wanted to clarify, because this was something that was submitted by somebody in the public saying, you know, can we just make it so that nobody can have a contract on private property with the carriers, and we can't do that. We can't deny outright that village residents contract with carriers, but we were able to say that we are not going to allow any units to be placed on directly on any residences within the village. So in other words, there are things that we can say, and in those instances, we tried to be as strict as possible.
Great.
So this is just to set another public hearing date. I should probably read through all of this real quick. Resolution of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Nelsonville, identifier introducing local law amending Chapter 188 of the Village Code entitled Zoning to adopt a new Article 8 entitled Small Wireless Telecommunication Facilities. At a regular meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Nelsonville, Village Board held at the Village of Nelsonville Village Hall, actually via Zoom, on the 8th day of July 2020 at 7 p.m. Dove, Trustee Podlowski, you're introducing this resolution. Is there a second by a trustee?
Second?
Second by Trustee Winward. Move the following resolution to introduce the following proposed local law to be known as Introductory Local Law Number 1 of 2020, entitled A Local Law Amending Chapter 188 of the Code of the Village of Nelsonville entitled Zoning. Now therefore be it enacted by the Board of Trustees of the Village of Nelsonville as follows. Section 1, Statement of Purpose and Intent. The statement of purpose and intent is contained in the local law attached here to as Exhibit A. Section 2, a new Article 8, 188-73 through 188-98 of the Code of the Village of Nelsonville is annexed here to as Exhibit A and is introduced by this resolution for further legislative proceedings by the Village Board. Mayor Bowman advised the Village Board that pursuant to municipal home rule law of the state of New York, it is necessary to hold a public hearing upon this proposed local law. Mayor Bowman offered the following resolution to set the date of the public hearing, which was also seconded by Trustee Winward. I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Second?
Move adoption. Whereas Trustee Podlowski has introduced this proposed local law for the Village of Nelsonville, known as Village Local Law Number 1 of 2020. We went, local law amending Chapter 188. Yes, yes, yes. Resolved that a public hearing be held in relation to the proposed amendments as set forth in the form of notice hereafter provided, at which hearing parties in interest shall have an opportunity to be heard, to be held at the Village Hall via Zoom on July 20th, 2020 at 7:30 p.m. prevailing time, and that notice of said hearing shall be published in the official newspaper of general circulation in the Village of Nelsonville by the village clerk at least 10 days before such hearing. I'm just going to admit Bill Bajarski. Notice of public hearing. Take notice that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Nelsonville will hold a public hearing on July 20th, 7:30 prevailing time on local law number 1 of 2020, entitled A Local Law Amending Chapter 188 of the Code of Village of Nelsonville entitled Zoning, which local law authorizes the planning board to approve permits to be issued for installation of small cell telecommunications facilities in public areas of the village, consistent with final rules issued by the FCC and other federal law. Take further notice that copies of the aforesaid proposed local law will be available for examination at the Village of Nelsonville Village Hall and on our website during normal business hours on all business days between the date of this notice and the date of the public hearing. Take further notice that all persons interested should have an opportunity to be heard on said proposed date and time, and that dated July 8th today. All those in favor of setting the public hearing?
Aye.
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 Any opposed?
I'm up in the air because I don't understand anything you're talking about you're doing here, you know.
In terms of the law itself,
Well, changing the law, yeah. I mean, you're throwing numbers, letters out there, different things. It's kind of like, what is the purpose of what we're doing?
to put some kind of rules in our zoning to control or at least put more oversight onto these small cell tower installations for 5G technology, which is going to be coming down the pike real quick.
So at the moment, Dave, any carrier could just place a 5G unit and it could look horrible. It could look like a refrigerator and the right of way, and there'd be no process or regulation in place for regulating it. So what this does is it says that it has to go in front of the planning board to get approval. So that it mandates that applications go through the planning board, and it says that they have to be camouflaged, they have to fit in with the look and character of the environment and the community. So it's just putting some regulations and a process in place so that it's not the Wild West when it comes to 5G, and they're not just put anywhere that the carriers deem that they want to have them.
It also gives us a way of collecting fees for permits as well for these installations.
Yeah, but how can we issue a fee to something we don't own? We don't own the telephone poles.
Yeah,
Doug's been back and forth with Brian Morgan about that, and
it's a fee for what it's called an access fee, a right-of-way access fee.
Similar to like what cable companies pay us for, a franchise fee. We don't own, the cable wires, but we still get money from, Cablevision or Optimum or whatever the company's name now, LTs.
Yep.
So it's a good thing to have on the books to get ahead of what's coming very soon.
It protects the village.
Yeah, but I mean, they tried with the cell tower and you got sued on that too. That's what I'm looking at. You're changing things that, they're coming down the road. Now you're going to try to throw a stop at them.
No, that's why we were very careful and worked with a lawyer and an expert, engineering expert of telecommunications law. So they wrote this code so that it doesn't interfere with any federal laws.
And, Nelsonville had one of the earliest cell tower laws on the books, probably in the area. And, that actually helped us when it came to the cell tower. And, yes, it did go to court, but we ended up settling for something that was at least a little better than what they proposed.
Yeah, if we didn't have a code for the cell tower, then they could have just installed a really ugly tower that wasn't camouflaged, that was over 180 feet.
Yeah.
So these codes, they help regulate and they help us retain some control and jurisdiction over the design, the appearance, the safety of these structures.
Well, I'll say yes to it, but I don't want to see the lawsuit coming down the road.
Well, you're just saying yes to the resolution for the public hearing. So
Right.
We're going to hear public comment during that, and then we'll take a vote for the actual law itself at a later meeting.
All right.
But just to be clear, no lawyer is saying that to have a code regulating 5G is, bad for the municipality. You just have to write it smartly so that it complies with federal regulations and that there is no overreach.
All good?
Real good.
All right. And Dove, thank you for all your hard work in keeping on, our legal counsel getting this done. This has not been an easy task.
Great job, Dov. Thank you.
Sure.
And I mean, yeah, this 5G code update is it's been discussed for just like everything else going on a long time now, at least
Like
probably
3 years, 4 years.
And yeah, Dove has really taken this and, is going to see it through to the end. And can't thank you enough. Road paving. So let's dive into this. Let's see. So Mindy put together kind of a apples to apples comparison of the bids that we received so far. I'm going to try, before we have the discussion, let me just duck out of that screen share and go to a different one. These are, can everyone see these pictures?
Yeah, that's gotta be Bank Street.
Yeah, so this is Bank Street, kind of what it looks like throughout with the spidering. Let me see if I can find the other ones. This is the end of Bank Street where it's really bad.
Mhm.
It's been patched numerous times over the years. This is the edge of Bank Street. It's eroding down in the Foundry Brook. This is the one I wanted everybody to look at. So this is the curb height along Bank Street in front of like Paro's old house right here. Literally, there's like maybe 1.5 inches to the curb. So if we pave over top of this, you're going to be almost up even with this curb. And, you know, that's going to cause drainage issues with driveways and things like that. It's also an issue on Division Street. So that's Bank Street. This is Division. The side where the cars park isn't too bad, but the traveled side is looking like this. It's been patched all down throughout and spidering. And, you know, the curbs here are higher, but as you get down in front of the Toulis and a few of these other homes on the left, you kind of get even with the entries into their driveways. And I think a lot of water could probably get off into the property owners' yards if we put more pavement on top of this. While we're here, Mindy, if you can tell Mark to please get rid of this ab machine or whatever it is. I don't know. Somebody moved out of that house and left it on the curb.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been there for the whole summer.
So what's his, so they're not, Royal isn't taking it as like
No,
recycling?
they don't take stuff.
It's
They leave it behind.
I mean, if he's got to bring it to the village hall, and I'll cut it up and we'll throw it out.
That's so funny. Okay.
It's been sitting there. So those are the current conditions, what they look like after the rain today.
Can I get these pictures, Mike?
Yeah, I'll forward them on to you.
Thank you.
Go back to the prices, Mike.
Yep, I'm going right there. All right, so here's Division Street. We got a bid from Padala, bid from Gorman, Van Etten, and Paul Hemus.
On Sal's price, I thought I wrote on the rest of them. To take up Division Street complete, add another 21,000 to that.
That's to mill it down?
Yeah, yeah, the whole road, the whole road.
I thought this, wait, this is,
Now, see, when I got it originally, can you see that? Where I gotta put it, see it?
What's it say?
On here, this one right here, this figure.
All right, so then
So it'd be
Yeah.
52. He'd be 52 for Division Street, according to his figure. What he said, what he told me would be a difference plus to do complete mill down of Division Street.
all right. Well, I think given the current conditions there that we need to mill it down, because if we pave over the spidering and the huge, you know, craters that are there already, it's just going to deteriorate.
All my proposals on Division Street were, for everybody, was to mill it down, but originally it was just to do half of the street where you showed what was real bad. When I talked to Carl had said, do the whole street. So I went back to Sal, because I talked to the other ones after that. And
Mhm.
Sal put that in afterwards.
So by half the street, you mean half of it width-wise, just the
Width.
traffic part?
We're only going to rip up from Main Street to Pine.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So, but that took in, that just takes, but it was just the half of the width, you know, up to about to where the cars are parked, like
Oh,
8 foot wide.
So these prices are only for half the street?
No, just south.
All right. So
Just
Van
that.
Etten at 38,016, that's the mill 2 inches down and replace curb to curb.
I got,
Because, I mean, they did a great job on.
their price is 38 for that.
Yeah, 3816.
Division Street, they say mill curb to curb.
Yep.
That's Division Street.
And that's just from Main Street to Pine Street.
Main Street to Pine Street, yeah,
Yeah, because lower division is okay. It's not.
yeah.
So I think in terms of milling down and doing the paving, we're looking at 3816. Van Etten seems to be the only quote that came in with what we needed. Let's just go down to Bank real quick and look at theirs. So Bank, we also have Briggs in here. I do want you guys to reach out to Briggs and see if they'll give you a quote on division as well.
And to confirm that quote, because that's an old quote.
Oops. Yeah,
Confirm.
it's, from last October.
Right.
Here, Sal was also doing the removal. The only issue I had here is Van Etten at 38,640 was only going to do attack and pave over on Bank. So that's not milling it down at all.
No, when I originally said to him, the bottom 30 feet on both ends had to come out because it was just too bad.
Yeah.
But then looking over the whole road, when you get a better look at the whole road and you really walk the whole length of the road, you see technically you got to take the whole road up. The only thing it's going to cost a lot more because I don't think there's a road underneath that road.
Yeah.
Might be just tar and chip underneath it.
So this 38,640 from Van Etten for Bank Street was only for paving over, or it was paving over part of the road and getting rid of rebuilding that bottom portion?
On Bank you want?
Yep.
Says it on
Peekskill Road toward Division Street, 14,000 square feet, keyway, tack, and pave. He's just gonna go over it. He's not gonna mill it up. So that's kind of like, he's not gonna mill the bottom and where it's real bad and up at the other end, the Cold Spring end side.
Yeah.
Did he have any reasoning why he wouldn't want to?
No, I just got that when he just sent this through, came through he emailed it to me. I went down to Mindy printed it out on the computer. So you guys all should have got a copy of this last time.
Dave, what did Charlie Polhemus say about the milling versus the not? Like, he had some really sensible comments about like the different options, and he knows our roads. He's local and he's dealt with our kind of roads and stuff. I mean,
Charlie on Bank Street was tack and pave 2 inches.
Mill the transition.
Mill transitions, yes.
But how much of the transition is he going to mill? That's the thing, is that end of Bank Street where all of that patching, that's got to be taken out of it.
Yeah, that was what we done with Briggs. His proposal was the last time was just to take out and go up 150 feet. We marked up 150 feet with that last year for that. And Secor, he wanted, well, let's leave Secor out. But Division Street, he was gonna just mill the transition and go over it. His thing was that the sidewalks were he thought that the curbs are high enough because where the cars park, there are no driveways that are below that. They're all high.
Yeah, that's true.
And on the other side of the street, the curb was higher. So if we put 2 inches down, you still had a curb and it should block the road that should work on for that end for the water to jump the curb. That's.
Mindy, you know Charlie well or no?
I mean, fairly.
Maybe we can get him at the end of the week and maybe do a quick walkthrough, Dave, and just see if he's got any thoughts of maybe milling it down at all. I see what he says with the curbs on Division Street. My only worry too is that we're going to leave it for the next round, that they're going to have to do double the milling work and all that stuff to take it down to redo it. It's basically just putting a Band-Aid over it.
Well, basically what from Charlie would be then a price on milling the road.
Yeah, I mean,
Mill it down.
Honestly, I would like to go with somebody local.
Yeah.
And, because it would be good to give the businesses to a local company.
somebody that's going to be here a year or two from now, when, you know, when something does freeze and crack or something, you know what I mean? And we know that they're there. And if, you know, if Charlie doesn't answer, it's Amber who answers, you know, it's like somebody always with an explanation, you know, not just an answer. I just, you know, there's people that you're comfortable with and there's people that you're not. And I just know that, you know, they're not going, same thing with Patala, but I feel like we give Patala all of our work and we need to kind of spread some of it around, you know.
What I'll do tomorrow, I'll call Charlie.
Mm-hmm.
See if I get together with him.
Sorry, who is Charlie? Is he?
Paul Hamus.
Paul Hamus.
Yeah.
Is he on this? Oh, Paul Hamus. Okay.
Yeah.
They own the large, you know, road construction company in Garrison. Yeah, Dave, if you get him and you can do something maybe on Friday to do a kind of a walkthrough, I'll be around.
All right, so I get a hold of him. He's got to go by, in regard last time, was his schedule when he
Yeah.
has time.
Yeah.
So if I can call in the morning and get him in the morning, then I could probably set a time up. We come up and look.
So not to spend a ton of time on this tonight. So we'll reach out to Paul Hemus. We'll try to do kind of a walkthrough of the roads with him. And then if you can reach out, Mindy, to Briggs Paving
Mm-hmm.
and update the Bank Street price and see what they'll give us for division.
Okay.
Yeah, I did feel a lot more comfortable expending the money after walking through with, you know, maybe Charlie and just getting his thoughts on what it would be like to pave over the spidering. I mean, I talked to a couple other people. They milled down Crown Street out here in the part of Secor, basically down to the roadbed.
Oh, they took your front of your house down a foot.
Yeah, because it was also, it looked like this. It was spidered and there were huge potholes, and that already has big potholes back in it now. So
Well, they say that tack is what they're all using now.
yeah,
Tacking it together and it's holding up. That's the whole thing about it.
and if the roads were spidered and not have these huge, you know, potholes that we've patched numerous times, that's one thing. But, you know, now that we've got the one pothole I have a picture of on Division Street's 6 inches deep.
Uh-huh. Someone's gonna lose a wheel on that.
And I've almost lost a baby carriage in it.
Yeah,
All right, so
just like to make sure we're comparing apples to apples and give everybody the opportunity to give prices on the same exact
Right.
thing.
yeah, I mean, if you want to follow back up with Van Etten and Gorman and you know, even Sal, and tell them the price that Sal gave us for Bank Street's $48,000. That's a lot, way higher than what we got from the other companies. And you know what we got on Division Street was $31,500, which was kind of in the middle, I guess, or you know, towards the high end, but not the highest.
Sorry, I thought it was in the 50s now, though.
Oh yeah, it's in the 50s, so it's well above the 38 that Van Etten gave us. And I think part of that is because Sal doesn't own the equipment. We discussed that at one of the previous meetings, that he'd have to rent it.
Yeah, Sal said if he did all 3 roads, which we talked about originally, he would take $3,000 off the price because he wouldn't need the machine for one extra day to rinse. You know, so, but that was doing all of them. And you're looking at $150,000 or so.
All right, so Dave will touch base with Paul Hamus. Mindy will touch base with Briggs. And then Mindy, I'll follow up with you tomorrow. I mean, I could even reach out to Gorman and Van Etten.
I'm on vacation.
Oh, that's right.
I'm not back till Tuesday.
All right, well then I'll follow up with Briggs tomorrow.
Okay. If you don't mind. Otherwise, I could send an email.
I got it.
All right. Thank you.
Gorman and Van Etten. Are you in PA right now?
No.
Oh.
You're just keeping me from packing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
All right, brush cleanup, Mindy.
So self-explanatory, and Mark is taking it to a dump that absolutely will recycle the garbage. That's not, you know, it's not garbage, it's just yard debris.
They're not going to
Yes.
burn it or something like that. All right.
Yes, they actually mulch it and stuff. So anyway, that's the reason why there's no plastic bags. The only type of bags he'll take are those paper bags made for that. Otherwise, just leave everything in cans or barrels, and him and his guys will dump them. So it's going to be done twice because people always miss the first one. So then, you know, we're giving them a chance to do it again, and it's going to be in the both newspapers and everything. So hopefully everybody will take advantage of it.
Great.
Hey,
Hopefully,
what I would like on that is the
How many?
number of people
Okay.
who want this, who have it picked up. Not the names
Okay.
of the people, just the number of people,
Okay.
you know, because it could be just,
Right.
you know, a few people to do it, which was kind of like, you know, they missed the last cleanup. So,
Oh, we've never offered this kind of cleanup before, right?
nope.
No, just leaf pickup.
Yeah.
Eve and Christmas.
I'm super excited about this. I'm storing all of it in my garage right now, drying. But I will say that the timing of it, like there may be fewer people taking advantage because most people have done the cleanup like, you know, April, May. So we might have to see until next spring to see if people are really using it.
There's been some positive feedback on Facebook already that people will be taking advantage of it. So, and I myself am looking at the last little evergreen tree that I've been wanting to chop down, and that might be getting put on a curb. So we'll see.
Great.
Any other questions on the yard debris? All right, let's go C-Corp parcel for moving ahead. Lisa, do you have anything? Or I have the last amendment that was sent by Will.
No, not really. You know, just, it seems like it's the same except the amendment for,
Yes, so since the memorandum of understanding, the MOU that we were pressing to pass, basically only needed to be passed because of the money that they were going to expend for the survey, which was going to be $25,000 or something like that. Due to COVID, they've kind of waived that. They don't need to do it. So we don't need to press forward with the MOU. We can move right to the conservation easement. The verbiage of the conservation easement has been verified by our attorney, their attorney. It does include, this is the one here, the ability of the grantor to place structures on the additional acreage shall be governed by the process indicated in section 3.3 of the original easement. Nevertheless, the grantor and grantee acknowledge that one non-commercial community benefit structure, example, a youth center, public restroom, educational facility, playground, public drinking water well, or similar improvement, shall be presumed to be compatible with the scenic and recreational values protected by the original easement and this amendment. So as long as the structure does not impair any wetlands regulated by the New York State DEC. That was kind of, I guess, the sticking point that we ran into on the last public hearing and meetings that we had on this. Was people said that was left out on purpose. It absolutely was not. So I think we've been pretty clear with that now. Is there any comment from anybody? Questions? This is another thing we've been dealing with for 2 years now, and probably more. It was started by Mayor O'Neill, and it's continued on, and this would be the culmination of this.
It also takes that 1.9 acre gatehouse parcel and turns it back over to the village with the conservation easement on it too. So it takes like all three of those things and makes it into one.
Yeah,
that's in here also.
It combines everything into the Nelsonville Preserve, basically.
Right.
And it essentially takes that gatehouse parcel and the C-Corp parcel out of any conversation in the future for cell development or anything like that.
Right.
Did Chris get dropped off the call? I'm readmitting her. Let's see. Chris, are you back?
Sorry.
Oh,
Internet me out.
Where did you drop out?
After I asked my question, do you have to put the garbage in a
Oh boy, sorry. So you've been gone for a minute.
Yeah, that's all right. I'll catch up. Thank you.
Yeah, so we're talking conservation easement. This is the final draft. We don't have to do the MOU because the survey is no longer mandatory with COVID and everything. OSI is going to waive that. The MOU was needed in order for them to expend the money, which was going to be upwards of $25,000. I just read the paragraph here where it explicitly says, public drinker well or similar improvement. So I mean that takes in artesian wells, water towers, whatever discussion we want to have if we need municipal water at some point in the future. And I was just asking anybody if they had any questions, so that we can vote on this on Monday. Nobody? All right. Do we have anything else before? Well, we don't really have a public audience besides Gloria tonight, so.
Mike, what about the roof?
I have to follow up with Steve Smith and see if I'm actually, I don't remember where we left off on that. Was I going to have him
We
back?
have to see, we said we have to see what we end up doing with the roads, how much money we're gonna spend on the roads.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I think, that needs to be kind of our priority is get the roads done. And then, if we don't expend all the money that we thought we were, then we can do the roof. If not, we'll make that a priority for next year.
for the next budget, yep.
Next year, along with maybe one of the roads that we kind of deferred this year. And I talked to Steve. He was, he didn't know. He thinks maybe half of the project he doesn't have to pull up the underlayment, and maybe half he does. But again, he wouldn't know until they started tearing at it.
All right.
Anything else? Gloria, you have anything?
She there?
I'm here. No, I don't have anything. Thank you.
All righty. Nothing else from the board? Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Bye.
Aye.
Thank you, everybody, and have a great night.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye,
Bye.
I'll do. Bye.
see you Tuesday.
Have fun.